Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I've ever found. Are you kidding me? Okay, I didn't mean to hook you so hard, but this is mold 25 of the mystery molds, and it is a doozy. I am so happy with this piece, and I can't wait to see what you think of it as well. So I pour it up and tip it out to see what's inside. Hello, my name is Shelby and I'm a potter. I found this bulk lot of slip casting molds, and one by one I'm pouring them up to reveal whatever is inside and then finish it into an artwork. This is the mystery mold series, so let's see what's in today's episode. Gosh. It's quite heavy. This one's from 2003. That's probably the most recent mold I've ever had. So I'm very curious to see what it looks like. Oh, I've got a round, oh my gosh, I think it's a little house. So I've got like this round shape to start with, and then it looks like a shingle roof with a chimney coming out of it. Okay, I'm gonna try and pull this out. I think my chimney has broken, but I think I can attach it back together. Yeah, the top part of the chimney's broken off. Oh, no it hasn't. Oh my goodness. Wow, it's a cute little house. It's got such cute, oh. When did that happen? So the little chimney part has fallen off a little bit, but I think I can attach it back on. It's this cute round space. It's quite hollow and I feel like it could have so many uses. I love the sweet little windows. I love the textures on the front doorstep and how those textures correspond with the bricks on the chimney. But they've also added a lot of like plain space to add your own decoration to. It's just really sweet, and I can imagine the type of person that would live in here, and I want to live in here. It's so cute. As for design wise, I definitely want to have a play with this. The first thing that's coming to mind for me for this is to actually turn it into an incense house and cut the chimney open and have it billow out of the chimney. The only thing is I will need to cut out holes somewhere for that oxygen to sort of fuel it to come out the chimney. I think that that would look so cute because it would look like someone had a little fire on inside, maybe cooking up some treats. It would be so sweet. And then the other idea is to even just put it straight over a candle, like it's big enough that it would fit over a standard candle, and have the windows open so it looks like there's a fire flickering inside. I'm really excited. And the other thing about this house is I think that it's so adaptable to so many different themes. I'm thinking about making it very fairycore and something that I want to keep for once, because I rarely find molds where I'm like, I love them all, but I go, oh, I really need to make one of these for myself. This is one that I really want to make for myself, and I really want to have my own little candle incense diffuser. So I'm definitely going to lean into that fairy cornice, but I feel like you could turn this into any kind of house that's in fairy tale. Like it's giving me a bit of like a Cinderella vibe, so you could do Cinderella motifs on the sides. I'm definitely thinking of, I was going to say Jack and Jill, that's not their names, Hansel and Gretel, and turning this into the witch's shack with all the candy on the outside. Who else? I'm thinking a gingerbread house would be so cool. Again, candies on the outside. But yeah, there's so much you could lean into. Even a hobbit house. Oh, there's just, the ideas are kind of endless because of the blank surface and the aesthetic this is in. I feel like this is kind of like a bit timeless, even though it was made in 2003, and usually that era of pottery molds is a little bit not my favorite. But yeah, I'm gonna turn mine into a little incense house. I'm so excited. So what I want to do is cut out some windows and then also cut out a hole in this chimney so that the incense will billow out, but also the windows will help with the oxygen inside here so that it will actually flow out and not just like cluster inside this big hollow shape. I also think that by cutting out the windows, I could put a candle in there and it will sort of like bounce off of the walls in there and make it look like there's a little fireplace in there, which I think will be so cute because it will make it feel like it's alive inside it. The only thing I'm looking at is for the windows, I'm actually not going to cut out each one one of these. I'm only going to cut out 2 so that it keeps the structural integrity of those window panes. Because they are quite thin, I don't want to cut away too much so that they become really fragile and really hard to work around, as the pottery will become quite fragile. I worry that it might not hold the structure and things like that together. I mean, it's quite a big shape, it should be fine, but it's more just for the fragility of like literally toothpicks. So I don't want to put any extra pressure or risk of breaking the piece. So I'm only going to cut out 2 of those windows. For that top hole, what I did was I stabbed it with a pin needle tool, and the reason I did that was actually just to sort of push the clay down to tell it where I want it to go, instead of it pushing out here and cracking the chimney, because it's quite narrow and I wanted to put quite a big hole in it. And then I went in with a smaller hole cutter and sort of compressed it and pushed it down and pulled some of the clay out before I went in with a bigger one. What usually happens is if you try and cut too big too soon, it's kind of like anything with drilling, you want to go in with a smaller thing than the bigger hole so that it actually has somewhere to go and it doesn't tear and rip. I literally just pre-drilled the chimney. The only other thing I have to do now is make this hole bigger so that I can sit it over the top of the candle. I'm gonna get a candle so that I can match the shape to go over the top of it. So I've actually got a bit of a smaller candle that I want to use. I'm thinking more like tea lights as well. I'm gonna get a cookie cutter. I actually got a whole lot of round cookie cutters in really big shapes, actually from Southern Hill, from the tin maker there. They're really good. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I think the bonus of having a big hole like that is I can now reach those inner windows and smooth them off so that there's no sharp parts, because anything that's a little bit of a burr will end up turning into a sharp ceramic piece post firing. So we want to make sure that it's nice and smooth and you don't hurt your fingers in any part of the piece. So I think that that's a good thing, not just for the candle, but to actually clean up those windows. That is so cool. I love it. I haven't even seen it on yet. Can you see that? Oh my gosh. It literally works perfectly. That literally works amazingly. I am so impressed. Like, oh. It's like someone's cooking inside the little house. I'm obsessed with that. The only thing I'm a little bit cautious of is when the pottery goes through the kiln firing process, it shrinks a little bit, and this hole size is working perfectly. Like the oxygen flows so magically that I worry that once it goes through the shrinkage process in the kiln that it might be a little bit too narrow. Now that we've tested the incense and know that this works, I also want to see what it looks like with a candle inside. So I'm hoping that it will look like there's a little wood fire inside and someone is sitting by the fire knitting or something. Oh my gosh! It's like someone's in there! That is so freaking cute. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I have ever found. I say that every week. I get so excited. I just love the wholesome vibes of this thing. Like, it is so cute. I am making this piece for me this week, so I'm doing it everything that I would like on a piece to look at it forever on my mantle. I am doing this house a butter yellow, and then I started painting the roof brown, but I instinctively was like, I'm not doing the roof brown, but because it looked like it was meant to be brown, I started painting it brown. I can't explain what happened. My instincts just kind of took over and my thought process was just like, what is going on here? So I sponged it off and went over it with the pink and made sure I did a few extra coats where I painted it brown. I am still going to sort of antique it. You saw that it was pulling up the texture of this shingle roof before, but I am going to do that in a different color. I then just filled in all the sections of the house in some colors that I thought would look really cool. It's giving like Blue's Clues house. house. I don't know, it just felt really cartoony until I added all those flowers, which is not a bad thing. It was just sort of giving something that I wasn't ready or prepared for it to give. With the windows, I ended up doing them orange and then doing the inner fills yellow. And the reason for that was because when the candle is on inside it, I really wanted it to warm it up and bounce off of those yellows even more to accentuate how that yellow would feel. And then I covered the piece with gorgeous flowers and viney details. So I had all these vines sort of crawling up and around the front of the house and crawling through the windows as if it was like overgrown and unmaintained, but someone who just kind of let the garden take control of the house in a way. I then added all these gorgeous, beautiful wisterias on the back, and I pretty much just did this by adding some line work draping down and then layering lots of different colors of purple and light blue dots dripping down all over the place, giving it a lot of movement and depth. From there, it was just adding all these different shapes and sizes of cottage flowers, and I think that that's what makes cottage flowers so whimsical and beautiful, is that they're all different sizes, colors, shapes, heights, and variety, that it gives it such a beautiful dimension that you don't really know which flower to look at and which one to focus on, because altogether they just work in a balance and harmony that is unlike any other garden. Essentially, these are somewhat my signature flowers. This is what I do on all my Aussie animals. This is what I did way before social media days and how I sold my art at markets, and it's just something that is a real comfort for me and something that makes me feel really peaceful and happy. I've said this before, is that I often get comments that, oh, don't do flowers, and to be honest, boo you. I am so sick of people telling me how to make my art and how to make the art that makes me happy and that makes a lot of other people happy too. And it's okay if flowers aren't your thing, but they are my thing. Because this piece is for me, I was definitely not straying away from absolutely covering it in the most magical, beautiful cluster of cottage flower daisies that just make my heart swoon. So if you don't like flowers, this is not the video for you, because that's all I'm painting. I did also want to take the moment to celebrate reaching 400,000 subscribers. That is absolutely wild to me, and I just wanted to express my absolute thankfulness and gratitude for your warm welcome to me back on YouTube. It has been a few months since I last posted, and my two most recent videos have been the biggest videos I've ever had on YouTube for my mystery molds. They have just boomed, and your comments and love and support for these videos has just sparked so much joy and love again for this series. I already kind of had it, and I think the break was the best thing ever because it just brought this spark back into my life and this excitement to do the pieces that make me happy. So thank you so much for showing up in the comments. I read your comments, they're amazing. So thank you for being here, and I'm so happy you love these videos as much as I do. I then added an antique wash to the roof and some of the details because I wanted them to just pop a little bit more and add that texture. This is like my go-to. I love doing this on all my pieces now. It just really enhances everything I feel. I then glazed the piece and popped it in the kiln to see the finished results. Alright, it is time to open the kiln to my little cottage house, and I'm so excited to see the finished results. Oh my gosh, look at all the colors. I'm so excited to pull it out completely. And look at all these amazing books. These are all painted by people at the workshops. They've been so popular. Oh my goodness, that is gorgeous. Look at all the flowers. That looks amazing. I can't wait to test it out. This piece makes me so unbelievably happy. It is just so magical to look at. I love the antiquing on those roof shingles. It just really brings that texture to life. But all the flowers growing around it sort of gives it this dimension and depth that it didn't have before. It just truly is such a gorgeous piece. I think that this is a new favorite for me, and one that I think will be really popular at my Paint Your Own Pottery space. Here is the test of the incense cone, and it worked so magically. I definitely think it worked better pre-firing because I felt like it just had a better flow. And here is a test run of the candle.
Is the hole too small? No!
I'm so sad.
I'll get you a really tiny candle.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I accidentally painted the spare one that I was also testing and not the one that I cut a huge hole at the bottom for the video, which was such a bummer because the hole was so much smaller and I just totally oversaw it. It didn't fit properly, but I put it on top so that you could kind of see what it was going to look like once there's a candle inside there. Definitely still going to keep this one for myself. I think it's so gorgeous. It's a bit of a letdown that I couldn't show you the candle inside, but I'm definitely going to get some smaller tea lights to show you what it actually looks like in the shorter version of this video. Otherwise, I love this piece. I'd love to know what you think of it in the comments. Here's a sneak peek for the next one, and I'll see you next week. Bye! Don't forget to like and subscribe.